a big goal of rehab and actually helping people understand pain and injury is helping them develop the language of movement optimism. Essentially, taking away a lot of these narratives around like the body being a machine and making it more of like a garden that you are nurturing and you're planting and you are tending to it and ultimately helping things grow. That shift in perspective, and then also a shift around the language we use when we're helping people make sense of what's going on in their body, can be super powerful. And what I mean by this is it gets really, really tricky to walk backwards from language that frankly makes people feel like they're broken, right? When you tell somebody that they have degeneration in their spine, right? Most people who are not medically trained do not, and a lot of medically trained people as well, don't understand that as we age, degeneration of the spine is somewhat of a normal process. And a lot of the things that can combat degeneration of the spine look like training, look like stressing our body appropriately, so that basically there needs to be bone density in those areas, right? It's a really unfortunate thing to have somebody walk away from a meeting with like a rehab person or a physician and feel like, oh, like I'm getting frail, I need to be safe and protect myself, when the opposite is what is somewhat necessary. Like, we need to stress your body appropriately, we need to give it good nutrition, we need to challenge your body so that it ultimately responds in a way that makes you more robust. Wrinkles on the inside is a really good concept that I learned from Jared Hall, who's a physical therapist as well. And, you know, it makes a lot of sense. Like, as we get older, we get wrinkles on the outside. It's pretty much inevitable, right? How you age kind of depends on how you live. And I've seen 60-year-old people who look like they were 85, and I've seen 85-year-olds who look like they're 60. And it's usually a matter of lifestyle, right? And to some extent, people can't control all those things. But everybody does have choices, and we can try to educate ourselves and improve our physical performance and our mental capacity as best possible. And looking at it like that is when you have, there's wrinkles on the inside as well, right? Your bone is going to get a little less dense as you get older, right? The things you can do, again, are to physically train to help it remain as dense as possible. Women are luckily starting to embrace the idea that they have to get strong to improve bone mineral density and manage osteopenia, right? Or osteoporosis. So when it comes to learning to just look at your body more optimistically, the language we use is super important. That's why I typically shy away from just talking about pain or just talking about how things are like breaking down. And I still talk about pain and injury, but I try to make it very contextual to the person. You know, when somebody comes to me and it's like, you look back at what they've been doing and it's just way more activity than they can tolerate, and they also have a busy life with a lot of stressors, we start to make sense of those things. And like, we start to help them process and see, oh, like, it's not just that I can't squat. It's that if I squat in this way without like finding a good positioning for me, it doesn't feel good, right? And also just using words like more optimistic words like sensitivity. You know, when somebody thinks, oh, like this is broken, that usually is scary. But like when it's like, oh, my hip's just sensitive to the loading that I've been putting on it, that can drastically change the outcome that somebody's going to have. So using a more optimistic lexicon language in your rehab process can be really, really important. There's a lot of ways to think about this, but I essentially just go back to think about tending to a garden. How would you cultivate and nurture a garden compared to fixing a machine? And sometimes things do need to be quote unquote adjusted or fixed in humans, but most of the time it's more of a process oriented around helping somebody get stronger, more capable, and more confident. That's all I got for today. Change your language. Peace.